Something strange happened right after Meghan Markle's loudest round of claims yet. Just as the pressure peaked, everything stopped. No interviews, no statements, no cryptic teasers, just silence, and not just from her side. Across the Atlantic, the British royal family also went quiet in a way that felt deliberate, almost surgical. No rebuttals, no denials, no emotional appeals. Royal watchers immediately sensed this wasn't avoidance. It was control. Two silences emerged at the same time, but they didn't feel equal. One carried authority. The other carried fear. And standing between them was Prince Harry, unknowingly trapped in the fallout of a war that may have already been decided behind closed doors. Reports suggest Meghan had shifted strategies completely in recent months, abandoning the wounded tone of earlier interviews and replacing it with something sharper and more confrontational. Instead of vague grievances, she began hinting at what she described as hidden truths and buried realities, implying the royal family had gone to great lengths to keep certain things out of public view. These suggestions weren't delivered quietly. They rolled out through polished media appearances, tightly edited clips, and carefully timed social posts that framed her as someone holding back explosive information. Observers noted that this wasn't emotional venting. It looked structured, intentional, almost like a countdown. And just as anticipation reached its highest point, the palace didn't react at all. That absence became the real headline. The royal family is no stranger to controversy, and historically they've relied on subtle corrections, unnamed sources, or strategic briefings to calm storms. This time, nothing surfaced. Commentators described the response as unnerving because it broke from every established pattern. No aides leaked. No background narratives appeared. Even friendly outlets were left without guidance. According to insiders quoted by royal analysts, this wasn't confusion or indecision. It was restraint. The kind that suggests confidence rather than panic. That's when speculation began to shift. People stopped asking what Meghan might reveal and started asking what the palace already knew. As the silence stretched on, one name kept resurfacing in hushed commentary: Princess Anne. Known for her discipline and lack of interest in publicity, Anne has long been regarded as the monarchy's most pragmatic operator. She rarely speaks publicly about family matters, but insiders often describe her as deeply protective of the institution itself. Unlike others, she was never publicly enthusiastic about Meghan's arrival, maintaining a polite but distant stance from the beginning. Royal watchers have long said that Anne doesn't react emotionally. She observes, remembers, and waits. So when reports began circulating that she had taken a more active behind-the-scenes role, it reframed the entire situation. According to unverified reports, Anne quietly pushed for a review of early decisions that had been made during Meghan's initial integration into royal life. At the time, the monarchy faced enormous pressure to appear modern, welcoming, and progressive, and insiders claim that certain vetting procedures were handled more delicately than usual to avoid public backlash. Nothing illegal, nothing dramatic, just unanswered questions that were set aside in the name of harmony. Now, with public threats allegedly being made, those old compromises reportedly no longer felt acceptable. The past wasn't being revisited out of spite, but out of necessity. As analysts began connecting dots, rumors surfaced suggesting Meghan's media presence had always been unusually well-coordinated. From sudden shifts in narrative tone to precisely timed exclusives, everything appeared polished to a degree that raised eyebrows. Commentators stressed that this does not prove wrongdoing, but it does suggest planning. Some reports claimed that branding efforts began long before her royal exit, positioning her story for maximum impact once she was no longer constrained by protocol. If true, that would mean the conflict wasn't spontaneous. It was staged to unfold in phases. Prince Harry, by most accounts, became the emotional engine behind the public campaign. His statements were raw, repetitive, and deeply personal, often echoing themes of persecution and history repeating itself. Psychologists commenting from afar suggested that Harry's loyalty was fueled less by strategy and more by unresolved trauma and fear of loss. He appeared to interpret every criticism as proof of a hostile system. Reports claim this made him the perfect shield, because his sincerity added credibility to claims that might otherwise have been questioned more aggressively. Then something changed. Meghan's visibility dropped almost overnight. Projects slowed. Interviews disappeared. Even supportive media voices became cautious. No explanation was offered, which only intensified speculation. Observers noted that people who feel confident usually escalate. People who feel cornered pause. The absence of activity didn't feel like rest. It felt like calculation. And that's when the theory of leverage began circulating more widely. Royal analysts emphasized that silence can be more powerful than rebuttal when one side believes time is on their side. By refusing to respond, the palace avoided amplifying claims while signaling that escalation would not benefit the accuser. Meanwhile, Meghan's silence carried a different energy. It wasn't composed. It felt restrained, like someone holding back not by choice but by necessity. Two silences existed, but only one controlled the outcome. Reports suggest that behind closed doors, tension increased rather than faded. Harry, who had once spoken nonstop, allegedly began asking questions. The confidence he displayed publicly didn't match the uncertainty described by commentators close to the situation. When silence stretches too long, even the most loyal allies start wondering why. And once doubt enters, it spreads quietly. Observers sympathetic to Harry argue that his greatest vulnerability was trust. He believed he was fighting for truth, unaware of how many narratives can coexist at once. If even a fraction of the speculation surrounding media coordination or withheld information is accurate, then Harry wasn't leading the charge. He was being guided. And realization, when it comes, is rarely gentle. Audiences eventually noticed that the cycle had broken. No more dramatic sound bites, no more escalating claims, just absence. Online discussions shifted from outrage to curiosity. People stopped debating accusations and started asking why the story had stalled. Silence, once again, was doing the work words could not. Princess Anne's silence carried finality because it didn't seek validation. It didn't explain. It didn't defend. It simply existed, confident that truth, if needed, could surface without warning. Meghan's silence, by contrast, appeared to protect what remained rather than advance anything new. One silence closed doors. The other waited behind them. In the end, this conflict didn't conclude with a dramatic revelation or a public takedown. It ended the way only certain wars do, with quiet. No winners celebrating, no statements clarifying, just the unmistakable sense that one side no longer needed to speak and the other no longer dared to. Between Princess Anne's controlled restraint and Meghan's abrupt retreat from the spotlight, the question remains open. Which silence truly ends a war? The one backed by certainty, or the one born from fear? Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to check out the next video on your screen.